President Zelensky wants Ukraine to receive Israel-style support from the U.S.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky revealed that Kyiv expects Washington to provide long-term security support similar to the U.S. Israel relationship model. According to Russia's RT news outlet, President Zelensky told reporters on April 25th, "The discussions in London focused on security guarantees from the United States. We hope that the US will make strong commitments, at least comparable to those it has made to Israel. In addition, we also seek support from European partners, and Ukraine is actively developing the necessary infrastructure to implement these guarantees." The Ukrainian leader also emphasized that any future peace agreement with Russia must be backed by continuous military, financial, and political support from the United States. Talks about an Israel model for supporting Ukraine first emerged during former President Joe Biden's administration, as Western officials began to acknowledge that Ukraine was unlikely to be granted membership in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Instead of collective security guarantees, the focus shifted toward ensuring a steady, long-term flow of Western weapons to Ukraine. On April 23rd, envoys from the United States, Ukraine, and several European countries gathered for negotiations in the United Kingdom. At that time, the UK Foreign Office announced that ministerial-level talks in London regarding the resolution of the Ukraine conflict had been postponed, replaced instead by expert-level meetings. The negotiations followed US Secretary of State Marco Rubio's cancellation of his planned trip to London. A European official stated that Secretary Rubio was concerned Ukraine might revert to its previous hardline stance, making it difficult to achieve any breakthroughs during the negotiations. Initially, the talks were expected to be a ministerial meeting, attended by the foreign ministers of the US, UK, Germany, France, and Ukraine. On April 24th, speaking from the Oval Office at the White House, President Trump remarked that negotiations with Kyiv were proving more difficult than talks with Moscow. On the same day, in a post on Truth Social, President Trump wrote, "I am not happy with the attacks targeting Kyiv." The US leader emphasized that these actions were unnecessary and came at the wrong time. President Trump also previously warned that he would withdraw the US from negotiations if the parties failed to make progress on a potential agreement soon. On April the 25th, the fourth meeting this year between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US presidential envoy Steve Witkoff took place in Moscow. Yuri Ushakov, an aide to the Kremlin, described the three-hour discussion between the two sides as constructive and very useful. Meanwhile, President Trump confirmed that the meeting between envoy Witkoff and the head of the Kremlin had gone well. Posting on Truth Social, President Trump wrote, "The work towards a joint peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine is progressing smoothly.